I'm a photojournalist from Holland. In the business since mid-1980s. Living in Hong Kong since 1989. Originally, I graduated as a microbiologist at the Free University in Amsterdam, Vrije Universiteit. And my roots are the countryside in North Holland, farmer's son, but I did not take over my father's dairy farm, so I became a photographer instead. I don't work for a company, I work for myself. I've always been freelance.
Yeah. What do you think about Hong Kong when we talk about stress? Is it like a stress city, or are people in general stressed?
Yeah, I think for outsiders, like for instance Dutch, when you come from Netherlands, you quickly think that it's all very stressful here, because it's of course a very busy city. The people, it's quite crowded. People are moving fast. It looks like. There's a lot going on, so you automatically think that would create a lot of stress. But I think in reality that is all very relative. But I'm sure that there's a lot of people with a lot of stress here. But I mean, I find it very hard to compare places. You know, when I go from here to like the Netherlands, I find it all very quiet there. That is nice. So if you're stressed out, it's probably quite nice to go to a place where it's a bit more relaxed. So, but Hong Kong, also what I read about it and others, there's a lot of people here who work hard on long days. People work much harder here than they do in most parts of Europe. But I think Hong Kong has the capacity of becoming stressful because the houses people live in are very small. What you have seen in your hotel is in a way also in real life for people. So it's extremely normal to an average family here lives maybe in 40 square meters, 400 meters. It's totally, luckily the families don't have many kids anymore. In the past they used to have more kids, but now maybe maximum 2, but still 40 meters, you know, on the 40th floor in a high rise. So people are on small places. They are often in like rush hour in quite full trains, buses. So I think that can create extra stress. A lot of public people need other spaces to kind of unwind. But then these days they go more into nature parks. In the past they never did that, but now they do that more. That's a good way of unwinding, I think. That's what the government also pushes now. Go walking, like on Lama you will see that when you take a ferry, there's a lot of people on the ferry, but they go to Lama. Those are not people who live on Lama. They go walk there. Like when I lived there, that pretty never happened. So you can use the space, the other spaces here, the public spaces to unwind. But in the houses, I think it's often quite stressful.
And besides, for example, nature parks, what other ways to, for example, you or locals use to de-stress?
I think the same as everywhere else. They go into cafes, restaurants. Locals like to eat out. So going out for dinner, you have expensive restaurants, but you also have restaurants like those. Young people, bars, music places, movies, just the usual kind of places. But I think people here go a bit more out for dinner than they do like in the Netherlands or something. But that's purely culture. That's with family or friends. They go to shopping malls. The shopping malls, they are air conditioned. So like with this kind of weather, you're not going to walk around for fun in the streets all the time. So you go to a big shopping mall and there is everything, including restaurants, bars, but you don't need to leave the mall. So you're walking in an air-conditioned environment. Deliberately, what they have chosen for here, they put people quite on top of each other, deliberately, also in new cities.
So why?
Because it's extremely effective. In the Netherlands, they do it the opposite. Everybody wants their little home with their garden and their garage, and then it's like, you know, I don't know if you know that expression, "Viermekswoningen."
Yeah.
It's like diarrhea over the country, you know. Here they do the opposite. You build 5 skyscrapers or 10, each 60 floors or 40 floors. So you You have thousands of people in the area. The ground floors, you have a shopping mall, a little hospital thing, and an underground station, a bus stop, and all that. And around it, you have a nature park instead of all these houses.
Yeah.
And I prefer it.